Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the TradeStation Getting Started class. Today, we're going to highlight the TradeStation desktop, and we're going to talk about some of the functionality that's been implemented on the software to help you place trades, analyze the markets, and scan for symbols and trading opportunities. So before we jump over to the TradeStation desktop, let me just make some announcements and also get through some of the disclosures. So give me just a moment while I set up my slide here. Keep in mind that every symbol and idea that I talk about in this presentation is for educational purposes only. It is not a recommendation of TradeStation. Also, that active trading is not suitable for everyone, especially if you're trading options which carry a higher degree of risk. Past historical performance is no guarantee of future results. We all need to be aware of these disclosures. And if you need a little bit more information, go to tradestation.com, and that's where you find all these disclosures. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on the content. Before I jump over to the TradeStation desktop, I want to talk to you guys about what is it that we're doing at youcantrade.com. TradeStation is the host of two different channels in there. One of the channels is the Getting Started with TradeStation. This class is an example of what we do in the channel, and I want to encourage everyone to visit us or join us every week. We do a presentation on all the different platforms that TradeStation supports. Today, we're going to do the desktop, but we also talk about OptionStation Pro. We talk about web trading, the mobile app, Futures Plus. So make sure you come back every single week and check out, our classes. And once you're ready to, take your education to the next level, we do have the TradeStation Masterclass. It's a premium channel, and in here we do more deep dives into the TradeStation technology. We also talk about technical analysis, strategy development, easy language programming. We have exclusive special guests. There's a lot of content going on there. In fact, we meet every single day live inside of the masterclass, and I want to encourage everyone to go there, check out the content, and see if it's something that you would want to subscribe to. I am broadcasting right now on two separate platforms. We're doing it on You Can Trade. So thank you guys, or the ones that are there that have joined the Getting Started channel on You Can Trade. And I'm also broadcasting on YouTube. And for those of you that are connecting in YouTube, I want to invite you to join the You Can Trade community and become a member. The Getting Started channel, it's a free channel there, and you have plenty of opportunities to talk to our instructors and ask questions if you have questions about the technology. In fact, right after the class today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to do a Q&A. So if you do have any questions on TradeStation, or if there are things that you have been trying to do on TradeStation and haven't found an answer, this is a great chance for you to join us at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time for a Q&A. But again, that's only happening inside of youcantrade.com. So if you're on YouTube right now, just be mindful that the Q&A is happening on youcantrade.com. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch over to my TradeStation platform. I have it open. So for those of you that are just getting started with TradeStation, this is the TradeStation desktop presentation. The first time that you actually open up the platform, this is not the way that it looks like, by the way. This is I just have nothing open inside of my TradeStation, and that's why it looks like a gray canvas. But what it looks like, let me just open up here, apps, and go to TS Today. TS Today is one of those workspaces that opens up automatically the first time that you join TradeStation and actually open up or launch the platform. And if you don't have TS Today anymore, this is the way that you can open it up again. So TS Today, and this will be the way that TradeStation looks like when you first log in. The first thing, let me open up my drawing tools. I most of the time forget to open them, and when I need them, it's like that's when I go there and launch it. Okay, so we have this overlay right here in the middle. This is just letting you know what's new with the TradeStation platform. If there's been an update, it tells you what things were fixed, if there's any new features that you should be aware of. So this is something that you just look at it and see what it is, and then you can just close it out. Okay, that's what I'm going to do right here in this class. But here in this TradeStation Today class, we have a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. First of all, we have a little drop down up here. This is a video that we have embedded right inside of this workspace that you can watch. It's a Getting Started with TradeStation platform. Although I do I do recommend or suggest that you visit the Getting Started channel on You Can Trade, because you get a little bit more, let's say, interactivity. This is just a video. By joining us every single week inside of the Getting Started channel, you're able to ask questions, you're able to interact with me. So it's a much better experience. And it just adds a little bit more of an educational layer to what you're doing on TradeStation. So just wanted to throw those 2 cents out. Here at the bottom left, you have some recommended workspaces. TradeStation comes pre-packaged with different views. These are not recommended in a way that, hey, these are the ones you should use. They're just there as samples, just to get you going in regards to, how do I lay out my screens? How do I organize my chart analysis? How do I do my quotes? So they're all there as samples that you can open up and see how they're created, and you can use them, modify them, or create your own from scratch. What we're going to do here today in class is we're going to start workspaces from scratch, and I'll show you how to do that. Right here in the middle, we have the TradeStation social feed. So anything that's happening on Twitter, it's posted here. You can see relevant information about TradeStation. And then over here on the right-hand side, we have upcoming events. This should be updated up to today's date. And you see the different dates right here on the far right. You just have to click on a date, and you can see all the events that are upcoming. By the way, this weekend, we have the Level Up Summit. If you haven't registered, please do. It's a free conference over the weekend, and we're just going to have multiple speakers that are going to join us. And just click on the register button. You'll see a whole landing page with the information and a lot of detail about what it is. Okay. So yeah, this is the TradeStation Today workspace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it. A quick way to close a workspace is just to come down here at the bottom. You see the workspace tab. I'm just going to right click on it and click on close workspace. All right. At the bottom, I also have an untitled workspace. Untitled workspaces are workspaces that have not been saved. And here in my TradeStation desktop, we're going to create things from scratch. We're going to save them, and I'm going to show you how that process works. I'm going to start off with a chart analysis window. I'm going to click on apps. And by the way, this apps button up here gives you access to all the applications inside of TradeStation, whatever is it that you're looking for. If it's a chart, a scanning tool, a trading tool, they're all here. You also have other 2 tabs, trade and position graph bar. They also roll out when you take your mouse cursor and you hover over them. We're going to take a look at them later on. Not sure if today, but we do talk about those tabs extensively inside of the TradeStation Masterclass. And if you guys have any questions about the information you're looking at up there, just let me know here, and I'll make sure to address those questions for you. Okay. Let's go here to apps. I'm going to click on chart analysis. This is the way that I open up a chart inside of TradeStation. TradeStation brings up a chart on the last symbol that I was looking at. By the way, I was looking at Microsoft. And if you look over here on the far left, you can see that I have Microsoft in there. Okay. So, and we also have a default time frame. If you look up here, this is a chart set to 15 minutes. Those 2 things, symbols and time frames, can be very easily changed on TradeStation, by the way. Symbols, I can just type in. TradeStation is one of those softwares that is very responsive to keyboard commands. Personally, I think it's a great shortcut. I use my keyboard a lot. So if I wanted to change the symbol on this chart to something different, all I need to do is type using my keyboard. I'll give you an example. Let's say that I want to see a chart of Apple. All I need to do is type in AAPL. Let me try that again. AAPL. And if you look closely right here at the middle of my screen, you're going to see what's called the command line. The command line, it's a little box that shows up as soon as you start pressing keys on the keyboard. And it's a way for you to interact with TradeStation and send a command to it. If you look right there inside of the command line, I've just typed in the symbol AAPL. So all I need to do is type in the symbol and hit the enter key. I didn't press the enter key so that you would see the command line. But usually, if it's something really quick, it's just typing the symbol, pressing the enter key on the keyboard, and it changes the symbol right away. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go in there and just press the enter key. And now you can see up here that I have Apple loaded right there on the screen. So yeah, change the symbol is something really simple. And if you wanted to change the time frame, all you need to do is click on time frame up here. There's a toolbar right at the top of your chart where you can change the time frame. I'm going to change my chart to a daily time frame. All right. And I'm also going to resize this window. You can see that the windows are pretty much very flexible, and they can be any size you want. You can have multiple chart analysis windows or different applications organized in this view. For example, let me go here to apps and click on chart analysis one more time. Okay, notice how I have a new chart window. And one thing that I do like here in TradeStation is the window menu helps you organize the applications that are open. Sometimes I go up here if I want to have my charts side by side or organized in a certain way that makes it easy for you to keep track of them. Just go to the window menu and select one of the auto arrange features here. If I do arrange vertically, I'll see my charts side by side. Okay. Once you have your layout, let's call it that way. Once you've organized your applications in the way that you want, you come down here at the tab where it says Untitled Workspace, right click, Save Workspace. And I'm going to give this workspace a name. I'm going to call it 2 charts. And if I look at the bottom, now the tab does not say Untitled Workspace anymore. Now it says 2 charts because I've saved it. And the nice thing about saving a workspace is that TradeStation remembers what workspaces were open when you were last using TradeStation. So the next time you log into TradeStation, everything should open up the same way that you had it when you were using it last. So very convenient. And that's one of the pros of saving a workspace, that it'll just come back to you the same way that you opened it. Okay. So in this particular example, let me get rid of this Apple chart. I just showed you that as an example of having multiple applications, in this case, multiple charts open in one view. But then again, you're going to be deciding what is it that you want to look at inside of your TradeStation. For anybody that's unsure, then go back to the workspaces that TradeStation provides. I mean, they give you very nice setups and ideas on how you can organize your applications. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some other functionality. I'm going to talk about studies. I'm going to talk about drawing tools so you know exactly where to find them. And I see the question, Daniel, from YouTube. Somebody's asking how to add the Heikin Ashi candles on TradeStation. Heikin Ashi is something that we don't have built in by default inside of TradeStation. There are some tools out there that you can bring in into TradeStation. And by the way, TradeStation is very flexible in that way, where you can bring in any custom tool that somebody has created into your own TradeStation. So it's very open. We're not restricted to what comes prepackaged. You can pretty much make your platform anything you want with this personalized language. So Heikin Ashi is one of those examples. It's not built into the TradeStation platform, although it's something you can bring into TradeStation. I think I talk about that not extensively, but I do provide a couple of examples on how you can bring in something custom to TradeStation inside of the masterclass. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at studies. Studies are going to be available right here at the top of TradeStation. Again, clicking on Add Study will give you access to the dozens and dozens of different studies that are prepackaged with TradeStation. I do recommend that you come here and scroll and see everything that's available. I do that, a lot of times just to see if I'm missing any studies or if there's anything new that has been added on the most recent update. And a lot of these studies that you find here, and especially the ones that are built into the TradeStation platform, have built-in help documentation. So if there's something here that you really don't know what it is, for example, I see here something called market thrust. If you want to have some sort of a definition or maybe some sort of description of what the study does, just highlight the study and then click on the definition button here right below. When you do that, it opens up the TradeStation help and it tells you what the indicator does, what was it designed to do, and how you should put it on the chart. So whenever in doubt, click on definition and it'll just open up help documentation for you. All right, in this case, I'm just going to use something very simple because the concept, if I show you one, if I show you how to do one study, you'll know how to do everything else because every study is pretty much customized and formatted the same way. I'm going to use something that all of us are pretty much familiar with, which is a moving average two-line. I'm going to put it right here on the chart. Okay, as you can see, these are moving averages, simple moving averages. I didn't supply a parameter, so it's using default parameters. I think the default parameters for these moving averages is 9 and 18, but you can make them anything you want. Now, if you're looking for a 30 and a 60 period or a 50 and a 100, whatever the parameter combination is, you can modify it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click on one of these lines. And that's my preferred way of editing a study, double clicking on the lines, but you can do it in multiple ways. I mean, you can right click on the line if you want to, and you can go to edit moving average, or you can go to studies here and just click on edit studies. It's the exact same thing, but I just like double clicking on the line because it takes me directly to the customized indicator dialog. Just be aware that you are in the customized indicator because if you miss the line, it'll probably take you to another or a different customized dialog. If I come over here and I double click on the background, this is customized window. I'm not customizing the indicator anymore. Okay, so just be aware of which customized dialog you're in. Okay, let me go back in there, double click on the line. A couple things that I'm going to show here on studies is how to change the parameters and how to turn on the alert. So let's go here. Parameters are going to be in the inputs tab. Here you find the fast length and the slow length. These are the two numbers that we referenced just a moment ago. And I can make them anything I want. So if I want to make a 30 for the fast and a 60 for the slow, and I click OK, notice how those lines automatically change calculations and they look different. This helps you have the same study applied on multiple chart analysis windows and have each one of the studies on a separate or a unique parameter. So it's very flexible in that regard. Here, I have the two lines working for me. Ideally, what I want to do is set up an alert so that when the lines cross, I get alerted. The signal of this particular study is that if the lines cross, that could be an indication of the trend changing or moving in a different direction. Whatever's happening to the trend, the crossovers are things that we're looking for. You see how the lines are about to cross right here on the current bar? I can sit here and just watch the lines like a hawk waiting for them to cross, or I can just set up an alert and let TradeStation notify me when they have crossed. And that's my preferred way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the lines again, go to the alerts tab and enable the alert. This is a simple process right here. You don't have to program the alert. You don't have to tell TradeStation, hey, if the two lines cross, give me an alert. That's already pre-programmed and created into the study. All you need to do is come here and check the box for enable alert. Maybe you can click on configure and choose how is it that you want to be alerted, because you can change the sound, you can change the pop-up message, you can change many things about the alert. But all you need to do, all you need to do in order to get alerted is to turn on the alert. Okay. Once I click OK, the alert has been enabled. And from this point, I can go on to do something else because now I know that TradeStation is going to send me either the sound or the pop-up message that I specified. Drawing tools are going to be right here in the drawing menu. So if I'm looking for a horizontal line, or a vertical line, or a trend line, or some more of the advanced analytical drawing tools like Fibonacci, the Ganfan, the Pitchfork. If you're looking for any of those, they're all going to be here in the drawing menu. Let me show you a horizontal line, because horizontal lines is one of the things you can draw on the chart very easily, and you can set up a price alert on the line as well. I'm looking at the price here of Apple. Apple is trading at $140. We see the price on the far right. Let's suppose that we want to get alerted when it drops below 140. It's very close of doing it right now, but we are like 46 or 47 cents above the 140 level. Well, let me click. And when I click and I hold my mouse button notice that I'm able to drag it to the location that I want. I wanted to drop this line right at 140. Sometimes, depending on the resolution of the scale, it may be a little bit difficult to drop it right at 140. Right now, I'm at 140.02, but I'm going to drop it. I'm going to look at the value here on the left-hand side. Notice that it says 140.02, but I'm going to double click on this line. Again, I'm using the double click. And in the data tab, I'm going to enter the price that I want that line to be on. I want it to be right at 140, and I'm going to click OK. So that's a quick way also to adjust any line and to be at the precise level you want. I'm going to double click on that line one more time because I forgot to turn on the alert. Take a look. We have an alerts tab again. And all you need to do is enable the alert and click OK. So not only did I turn on the alert on the moving averages, I also turned on the alert here on this yellow line, which is my horizontal line. And as soon as the price activity touches 140 or drops below 140, I should be alerted of that fact as well. Okay. So studies and drawing tools, those are the two things that you're going to be using a lot. We always want to have a technical study on the chart. We always want to have a line on the chart. So just keep an eye on those two menu drop downs right there at the top. Okay. Let's take a look at Michael makes a very good point. By the way, Michael is my colleague here, joined in the Getting Started class. Right there in the chat, in the You Can Trade chat, he commented that yes, alerts are disabled if you change the symbol. I have to leave the chart open, which is an Apple chart. I have to leave it open on the symbol that I want to be alerted on, because if I change the symbol or if I close the workspace, that alert is not active anymore. So thank you for pointing that out, Mike. All right, so let's see. Let me see some questions here on YouTube. Somebody's asking, will this alert you from your cell phone? That's a question from Yolanda. Thank you, Yolanda. You can set it up so that it sends an alert to your email address. And if a lot of cell phone providers can also give you some sort of a email text so that you can configure inside of TradeStation. So instead of sending you, it'll still send you like an email, because that's what it's called, but your email, let me not confuse you here. There is a way, or there is a phone number formatting that is an email that sends a text message. Let's put it this way. If you want to be alerted on your phone, you can either do email or you can do text, and our technical support department can help you figure that one out. Okay, but it is very possible. All right. June, I see your question about drawing tools disappearing when you change the time frame. One thing to keep in mind is that you have enough historical data. A lot of times these drawing tools, remember that there are anchor points that display the actual drawing tool. And if you change the time frame, just make sure that you have enough historical data so that the data is there, that where the drawing tools are drawn. So those are some of the things that we can test and troubleshoot in our Q&A. But if you still have issues, please make sure you join me at 11:30 inside of You Can Trade. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some other functionality here. I'm going to jump over to trading because a few things that I want to show you here in class. One of those things was how to bring up a chart, how to add studies, and how to add drawings. I'm going to jump over to trading and show you some trading functionality on the matrix. Let me open up a new workspace, go to apps, and open up the matrix. And I use the matrix here inside of this presentation because I'm a fan of the matrix. I like that it provides me a lot of information. It's not the only order entry tool that we have on TradeStation. So if you would rather use the trade bar right here at the top of TradeStation, yeah, you can do that. We provide you multiple ways in which you can enter your trades. And as a TradeStation user, you're going to choose the one that you find most useful and more comfortable, of course. So let's go ahead and trade something here. I'm not going to do Apple because Apple, I already have a position open. Let me make the font bigger on this window. I don't know why it looks a little bit small. Let me go to font. Oh, because it's 9. Let me make it 11 and set it as a default. There we go. That looks bigger. And let me change this to something that I probably have not traded, where I don't have a position on. So let me go here to J&J. J&J is Johnson & Johnson, and you can see that it populates right here on my matrix. All right. Let's see. I do see a lot of questions coming in. Remember that we're going to do a Q&A, and everyone is invited to join the Q&A, and we'll take question by question. The Q&A is going to be on You Can Trade at 11:30 right after this class. And I'll show you, some of the things you're doing, like loading historical data. Randall is asking, how do you grab historical data? That's something that you can edit on TradeStation. Just go to the data and edit symbol, and there you can load more historical data. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take a trade here on Johnson & Johnson. And a few things that I wanted to point out here. For example, not sure why every time that's something that comes up. The command line is also part of the matrix. But I wanted to highlight a few things here. Let me go ahead and do that. And if you notice, you see a price right here highlighted in gray. That's the current trading price of the symbol that you have in the matrix. And you see how it moves in real time, because this is real time data, and it just moved out of the box that I drew. But this is just the price that you see highlighted in gray. That's what Johnson & Johnson is trading at the moment. This is trading at 158.86, and you can see the price fluctuating. Another thing that you see here is that that's a square. That's not what I wanted. So we have a blue column, which is where the buy orders are going to be sitting, and you have a red column, which is where the sell orders are going to be sitting. So one of the reasons why I like the matrix is because it tells you what the interest in Johnson & Johnson is, and any other symbol that you have on the matrix as well. These numbers that you see there, these are number of shares that are waiting to get filled at each one of these price levels. A lot of times, this could be a way of identifying some support and resistance levels for any symbol. If you see a large number of orders on the buy side, you're gonna, that if the price is dropping, it's going to find some support right at that level until it fills all those orders. So knowing exactly how many shares are waiting at each one of these levels is important to know for every trader, because it'll give an indication of where the price may go or where it may slow down. This type of information is called the market depth, and is something that is you can add to your TradeStation account. So if you're looking at the matrix and you don't see all these numbers that I'm showing in the blue or the red, is because probably your account has not been subscribed to this data. So I just wanted to point that out in case you're looking at your matrix and you say, my matrix doesn't look like Jesus's. So that's one of the reasons why it may look a little bit different. So in order for you to trade, all you need to do is join either the buy side or the sell side. The buyers are on the blue and the sellers are on the red. Let's suppose that I'm interested in buying 100 shares of Johnson & Johnson. I'm going to come over here to the right, to the trade bar. I'm going to change the quantity here to 100. It was set to 500. I want to trade 100. Let's suppose that I want to buy these shares at 158.75 down here. If I want to do that, all I need to do is hover over the blue that corresponds to the price that I want. You can already see on the left-hand side where it says buy 100 limit. So my matrix is already getting ready to submit that order. And all I need to do is click. I click inside the blue and the order is gone. You can see the box right there inside of the matrix. So the blue box here on the left-hand side, that's my working order for 100 shares of Johnson & Johnson. The price, of course, is a little bit higher. The price right now is 158.93. And that's another thing that I like about the matrix, that I can see where the price is in relationship to the price that I want. You can see that Johnson & Johnson is dropping, getting closer to the price that I want. And if it drops to 158.75, I'm going to get filled. I also know what the best selling price is. Right here, the best selling price is 158.86, 158.85. You know that the sellers are continuously updating their selling price, and you know where the sellers are. if I wanted to get filled right now, I know that the best selling price is about 158.86, 158.87. So I can click my order and drop it in there if I wanted to. So if let's do that. Because I mean, this feature of clicking and dragging is something that makes the matrix also very useful and very easy to use. I mean, that order that I submitted at 158.75 is just sitting there, but I have full control over it. I can click and drag it to any other price that I want. I'm going to drop it. Maybe let's raise it to 158.80. So 5 cents. I'm going to drop it right there. So I just got closer to where the price action was, but I can continue, clicking and dragging that order until I get filled. If you want to, or I can just, let it sit there and during the day to see if Johnson and Johnson drops. But if you really want to get into a position and you just want to click and drag it so that you get filled right away, I just have to drop it where the sellers are. The sellers are up there, going up to 158.99, 159 even. So I'm going to click, drag, and I'm going to drop it up here. And as soon as I do that, I hear inside my earbuds, I heard order filled. TradeStation has these audible alerts that tell you when an order has been filled, an order has been canceled, or an order has been rejected, which is information that is useful. So I just got confirmation that I did get filled, and notice the P&L on the far left is giving me a real-time view of my profit and loss, which I find very useful as well. So you can already tell that the matrix provides you a ton of information of what's going on in the market, including your position information and your P&L. Okay, that's something to keep in mind, and it makes it very simple. Let's take a look at some of the questions that are coming through. Let's see. Does options matrix appear or operate in the similar manner? It should. If you bring up an option symbol and you put it inside of the matrix, you should be able to see the exact same functionality. Does the matrix show level 2 data? That's exactly what I'm showing here. The blue and the red column, the numbers that you see inside, that's level 2. What's the schedule time for those live streams? Check out the live stream schedule on the Getting Started with TradeStation channel inside of You Can Trade. You find the schedule there. And if you're interested in the masterclass, you also find the schedule if you go there to the masterclass channel. All right. Perfect. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other things that I can do here. Let me switch this to a futures contract. Let me do that quickly here. ESZ21. Take a look at what I just did. I just used my keyboard. I typed in ESZ21, which is the front month of the S&P 500, hit the enter key, and now I'm looking at a matrix of the futures. Very simple, right? In here, I'm going to do what's called, or what I call, an all-inclusive trade. An all-inclusive trade is a trade that you've planned out fully. You have an entry plan, but you also have an exit plan. And the exit plan includes 2 scenarios, because there's always 2 sides of the coin. You can either make money or lose money, right? So if you make money, you have a plan of getting out and capturing some of that, money that you made. And if you start losing money, then you have another plan, which is get out before you lose more, right? So this is an all-inclusive trade where you plan out and you say, well, I'm going to get in, and this is where I'm going to get out, and I'm going to put in a trade that does everything for me. Now I don't have to be glued here to the screen watching my trade, monitoring what's going to do. So let's go ahead and set that up. I'm going to, before I even submit my entry trade, I'm going to check this box that says attach OSO. The OSO and OCO functionality in TradeStation is very robust, and it's very comprehensive. It covers a lot of bases, more than we can cover here in this class. And that's why we have additional classes in the master class that talk extensively about the OSO and OCO functionality. But here, I'm just going to check this box that says attach OSO. For those that are not familiar, OSO stands for order sends order. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do an entry that is going to send exits and protect my investment, either on the positive, both in the positive side and the negative side. I'm going to use the one that is inside this dropdown, the top one, which is an exit bracket with 1 limit and 1 stop. This is just a simple bracket. If you haven't used these before, it may look a little bit complicated, but it's not. It's not really. you're just letting TradeStation know this is what my profit target is, and this is what my stop loss is. Please, take care of them. So I'm going to go here inside the ellipsis because I do have to take a look at the price offset, because this is how far do you want your profit target and your stop losses to be. And the 10 that you see inside the cell, those are minimum price movements on this futures. If you're familiar with futures trading, specifically the S&P E-mini, you know that it trades in quarters of a point. So when you see a number 10 in there, that's exactly what it refers to. It refers to the 10 minimum price movements, something to think about when you're setting up these offsets. So let's suppose that I want to set my target to 20 minimum price movements. By the way, take a look at what's happening here at the bottom of my chart. Let me just sidetrack a little bit here, because my chart analysis is giving me the alert on Apple, which is the horizontal line that we just got, or we just remember that we set up an alert on the horizontal line where I'm getting it right here at the bottom. In fact, I'm hearing it here in my ear. If I go back to the chart, let me go cancel out of this and go back to the chart because it's going to drive me nuts. When we set up the alert, we set it up in a way to alert continuously. So every single trade is triggering the alert if the alert is true. So let's set it to alert once per bar. And that way it'll alert me once and then it'll be active on the next bar. So let's go back here to my trade. I was talking about the offsets. I was changing my target to 20 minimum price increments in futures is about $250. If you take into account that these are quarters of a point, so it makes it 5 whole points, and $50 per point is $250. For those that are futures traders, it all makes sense in your head. If you are a stock trader, this works exactly the same way. Just think about cents. How many cents or how many dollars away do I want my profit target and my stop? Okay. My stop, I'm going to leave it the same at 10, and I'm just going to click OK. So once you figure out, the offsets of your profit target and your stop loss, you're ready to put in a trade. Now you can use the same functionality that I used earlier, which is clicking on the blue or the red to submit your trade, or you can use, these buttons on the right. Let's suppose that I'm going to be sending a market order just to buy one contract. As soon as I click on buy market, I get filled. This is this horizontal blue is where my entry is. I got filled at 43.1075. This is where my stop is at 43.08. And my target should be somewhere up here. Here it is at 43.15. You can see the potential P&L, 250 on the profit side. And if I scroll down, you can see that on my stop loss is 125 loss. By the way, these ones or these other two orders that I just submitted can also be clicked and dragged to be put in a different location, a different price. So give that a try. I always recommend that if you're learning TradeStation, that you connect to the trading simulator and test out all these different features before you test or before you trade on your real money, because it'll give you some familiarity with the functionality and you'll know exactly what to expect once you start trading live. So make sure that you do that on your TradeStation, which is connecting to the simulator to learn the feature. All right. Let me go ahead and right click on this tab. I'm going to save it, save the workspace. Always remember to save your workspaces, and that way they'll come up the same way that you place them. And I'm going to go here to a new workspace. The Trade Manager, by the way, the applications here are sorted in alphabetical order. If I open the Trade Manager, this is my control center. Whenever you're trading, have a Trade Manager open somewhere. These are all the orders that I submitted. I'm not sure if you were here at the beginning of class, but we traded J&J, and we also traded a futures contract, and you see those orders working here. Oh, by the way, I just got filled on my, what did I get filled on? Okay, I bought it at 43.10, and I got filled on my stop right here at 43.08. So it hit my stop and it canceled my profit target, which is okay. So you can see how my trade, even though I was not looking at the matrix, is a trade that is already sent. And I already had a plan where I could lose money or I could make money. In this particular example, I lost money, which is, the story of my trading. But it's very simple for you to place these type of trades that pretty much cover all the bases. Let's go ahead and I was just talking about the trade manager. You have all the orders here, and if you have multiple positions, you can click on the positions tab and look at your list of positions. By the way, this is a little bit crazy because I was doing a demo on multiple accounts, and that's why you have this whole list of positions here. These are all simulated positions, by the way. Okay, the last 10 minutes of class, I'm going to show you something really, really beneficial on TradeStation and very cool as well, which is some scanning capabilities. Do you guys remember at the beginning of class when we were talking about the moving averages and we turned on the alert because we said, well, if the moving averages cross, I want to be alerted because that's a signal. Inside of the moving averages, it just signals that there's a change in trend. I want to be notified of that. But let's take that to the extreme and say, well, what if I don't have just a specific symbol? What if I wanted to supply a whole list of symbols, let's say 100, and you want a TradeStation to tell you, hey, out of all these 100, which ones are crossing right now? And that way we're not just waiting for one symbol, we're just monitoring all these symbols, and you can be alerted on multiple trading opportunities. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to go here to this untitled workspace. Well, I'm going to open up a new one. And let's go ahead and click on apps and click on radar screen. Because that's the way that I usually split up my class, or at least the getting started class. I show you a little bit of charting, then I show you a little bit of trading, and then I show you a little bit of scanning. And this is just a taste, a taste of what TradeStation is capable of doing. I want to invite you to come back more and more and ask questions about the functionality, because I know that some of the tools here are a little bit let's call it sophisticated. So there's a lot of intricacies and a lot of things you can turn on. So yes, I know that sometimes we need some hand holding to get through the functionality. But once you get a good handle on it, you'll be a master at TradeStation in no time. Here, I'm going to go here to data. I'm going to add a symbol list, and I'm going to choose the NASDAQ 100, which is just the 100 symbols that are listed in the NASDAQ 100. Let me remove the top two rows. I don't need the label, and I don't need the index itself. What I'm going to do here is, I don't want to resize it that big, because what I want to do is I want to add, let me click on the plus here, the plus at the very end of the columns, because I'm going to add the moving average to a list of symbols. That is what sets Radar Screen apart from any other quotes window out there, because you have the ability to insert a technical study that looks at historical data and does calculations as if it was a chart. So if I come over here and I add the moving average two lines, the same one that I did on charting. I put it down here. Here we go. So this column that I just added on the far right, this is the moving average. Adding a technical study like I just did to a list of symbols, this is like creating 100 chart analysis windows in one step, because they're all loading historical data and calculating the moving average lines. Does that make sense? So now I have this ability of turning on the alert and knowing which symbols we're crossing right now. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to right click here on the column header. I'm going to go to studies, and I'm going to edit moving average two lines for all symbols. This class that we're doing right now is being recorded, so everyone will have an opportunity to pause it and practice it on your own TradeStation. So don't stress out if you didn't know exactly where I went or what menu I picked. You can always come back to the recording and play it back, okay? So here, I'm gonna leave the parameters the way they are, but I'm going to go to the alerts tab and enable the alert. This time, I am going to leave it on alert continuously, but I'm going to disable the messaging. so that I can avoid, the annoying little box that kept on popping up on my TradeStation and dinging on my ear. All I want to do when you do this, when you disable the message center, the alerts are all visual. You have to keep an eye on your radar screen, and I'll show you how you can do that. I'm going to click OK here. And I want you guys to take a look at what happened here on the far right of the column, because you can see, oh, not what I wanted, some areas of my TradeStation, and that's something that I need to take a look at. I'm not sure why the hotkey here is enabling the print log, but you can see that every so often I see a little red marker appear on the far right side of the column. Those red markers are the ones that I need to be paying attention to, because those are my visual cues, my visual alerts that something's happening. Let's go ahead and take a look at those symbols in a little bit more detail. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a chart here on the far right. So let me go here to chart analysis. I'll resize it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the same study to the chart, which is the moving average 2 line. Default parameters, so that I'm not changing anything. Okay, and in here, I'm going to link the 2 windows together so that I can select the symbol that is triggering the alert. In this particular case, it's CTSH. This is Cognizant Tech Solutions. Let me go ahead and click it. Notice that it loads right here inside of my chart. My chart is set to 15 minutes. I have to change it back to 5. But take a look at what's going on right here on the current bar. The lines are crossing. It's not very clear because it seems like it's been crossing for the past four bars in and out. So it's not a very clean cross. So let's go ahead and take a look at another one. Let's take a look at this one, EA. EA is Electronic Arts Incorporated. I click it. Here we have a cleaner cross. So for today, the 2 moving averages were dropping. Now the fast moving average is crossing on the current bar to the upside, which is a bullish alert. Let's take a look at another one. Down here, we have another red signal. This is KDP. I click it, and there we see another cross. This is a cross under. So this is a bearish signal. So we do have to come here to the chart to see if it's a bearish or a bullish signal. But yeah, anybody that's anytime that you get a signal like this, yeah, you want to come back to the chart and see what type of signal it is, in what context it happened, and interpret, the whole chart and see if that's a trading opportunity or not. But this is a great tool for you to be scanning symbols and finding symbols that are meeting certain criteria or meeting certain characteristic. Those are things that every trader, should have tools like this. It just helps you keep an eye on the market and know when things are happening. One thing that I would do right here inside of my radar screen is I would ask radar screen to filter by the alert. Let me show you this right here at the top of my radar screen. I have some drop downs. This is like a filter drop down. I'm going to select on the first one, and I'm going to select my moving averages. And in here, I'm going to set this to alert true. So by setting this up right at the top of my radar screen is only showing me the symbols that are triggering the alert right now. And as you can tell, there are 4 symbols. We already looked at a few of them, but out of the 100 symbols, this is 100 symbols that make up the NASDAQ 100, 4, well now 3, are meeting the criteria. By the way, this is a 5-minute scan. So every 5 minutes, it'll recalculate the moving averages and tell us if there's any other crossovers. We have new symbols have shown up. Now we have 5 symbols. So notice that this is a scan that is happening in real time. As new bars are coming in, this is the 5-minute chart. As new bars are coming in, we get a new set of symbols that are crossing right now, which is pretty valuable. If I click on QComp, for example, this is one that I hadn't seen before. Notice how there's a cross to the downside. We had a cross not a long time ago, a few bars ago, but then it's crossing down again. Intel showed up right here, similar to QCOM. We had a cross to the upside, but then we're crossing down one more time. Okay, so this is a great tool to have for those of you that are, that are interested in getting some real-time and timely alerts. And I wanted to make sure that I highlight this functionality for everyone. Again, this is just a very high-level demonstration of this functionality. If you're looking for a deeper dive or more details on how to set this up, make sure that you join us for additional classes. We do more of these instead of the masterclass, and I want to invite everyone there. Remember that we have the Q&A in about 10 minutes. For those of you that have questions about the technology, make sure you join us. The Q&A is not happening on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you still have questions, you want a little bit more clarity on another topic, make sure you join our Q&A inside of You Can Trade. You just go to youcantrade.com and then look for the Getting Started with TradeStation channel. That's where we're going to be. So hopefully we'll see you there. Okay. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for being part of this session. And I hope to see you in a future class right here, not only in the Getting Started, but also in the masterclass. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great afternoon.